Big chunks of U.S. tax law could be thrown into question, depending on how the Supreme Court rules in a case set to be heard in a few days. Robert Frank joins us now with more. Robert.
Good morning, Joe. This could be the biggest tax case in decades. It's called Moore versus the United States, and the Supreme Court is scheduled to start hearing arguments next Tuesday. At issue is a provision of the Trump tax cuts that imposed a one-time tax on bringing foreign profits back to the U.S. The Moores, there are a couple in Washington state, owed $15,000 in taxes because of an investment they made in a private company in India. They said they never saw a dime in actual earnings and that their profits were retained by the company, so they shouldn't pay any tax. A ruling for the Moores could undermine large sections of the tax code, especially for investors, partnerships, and corporate foreign income. Paul Ryan said that a third of the tax code could be scrapped if the Moores prevail. It would also require tens of billions of dollars in refunds to companies who already paid that tax, and it would effectively kill any idea of a future wealth tax. That's the big one. U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Cato, lots of others filing briefs in support of the Moores. The Biden administration and many conservatives like Ryan have filed briefs defending the tax. So this could have huge ramifications if they rule in favor.
That's so weird, but I can't. So it's not split right along conservative versus you've got conservatives arguing both sides of this tax.
Well, the conservatives like Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan is a tax geek, right? He really understands the tax code, and his point is this could cost over $100 billion a year in lost revenue if you say, let's say, a pass-through that retains its corporate earnings and profits rather than distributes them to the owner.
Doesn't have to pay taxes.
Doesn't have to pay taxes anymore.
That's the problem with the pass-throughs, though, right? This is not a question of not getting those profits, not getting them back if it's a pass-through. If it's a pass-through, you're just a person pretending you're a corporate entity.
And someone like him might...
It's an abuse of the pass-throughs.
It would be.
It's not to say Paul Ryan wants to tax unrealized gains.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. His point is that if you have a broad ruling in favor of the Moore, this could be a narrow ruling which they just say this particular tax, which is a component of the 2017 tax cuts, would have to be annulled. That's one thing. If they broaden it to say any basically retained profits, unrealized gains, don't count as income, therefore you can never tax it.
The Moores didn't see a dime of this profit from the Indian company, and they got to pay taxes on it?
And now there are a lot of questions about their actual story because he actually did receive compensation through a loan that they gave him, and he was a member of the board.
That is not a clear-cut case.
It's not a clear-cut case.
And my bigger issue is the pass-throughs issue. If you say that it was never passed on to you because the pass-through had it, but you're the only
owner
entity, the only part of the owner of the pass-through.
That's a big scam.
The fear would be that you just keep retaining those earnings within the pass-through and never pay taxes. But it also affects just broadly foreign income for all these companies that have foreign earnings that they would just keep overseas and never have to pay.
But they never have to pay taxes on it because they keep it in an entity that is also theirs.
That's right.
It's like a bunch of shell games.
That's right. And that's why I think, even sort of what we would say conservatives like Paul Ryan say,
right. That's why Paul Ryan would say this. This is not about unrealized taxes.
That's right.
This is about shell games.
But there are many people that said the reason the Supreme Court agreed to take this case is because they want to shut down a wealth tax. They want to shut down this idea of taxing unrealized gains.
That's how I would think and people perceive the current court as conservative. Well, it has a majority of conservatives, obviously. So you would think they would put that to, I mean, that is the most ludicrous idea. I mean, I know that there's property tax, but it's not the same thing, and it would kill. Well, let's get
this sounds like it's way more complicated.
It does, but I'm almost ready to, if it can get the other one off the table, do it.